Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a team game, a 3v3 featuring Falcon Paladin here on Snowbound Colony. Alright, so bottom left-hand corner, we're going to have Team 1. It's going to be the Red Terran player Into the Storm. His teammate, the Blue Zerg, it is FalconPally. And then over here, we've got the Teal Protoss player, Sergeant Bob. Sargento BB, something like that. And then Team North up here, Team 2, the Purple Zerg player, Macaroonies. His teammate, the Orange Zerg player for the Swarm. And they've got a Protoss themselves. It is Shamanix. We're going to red versus blue this thing because keeping team colors in a 3v3 is impossible. Keeping them straight is really hard to do. Red versus blue, easier to follow on the minimap and whatnot. This is Samwise Didier. He is one of the graphic designers for Blizzard. Super cool guy. When it can't load your floating logo, this is what you get as a placeholder. Anyway, I do play a lot of 3v3s, whether with Somicron or sometimes just by myself, out on twitch.tv/FalconPaladin. Give me a follow out there. Come watch me play. Come give me criticism. Come tell me how I suck. Is that a real cannon rush? Ugh, hang on. Don't think it is. Nobody's making a forge. Oh, that's just a gas steal. Okay, we're good. Just the gas steal. APM check here. Falcon's at 330 because he knows how to spam. 270 down here. About a 68er from our Terran guy who doesn't care, obviously, about APM whatsoever, which is fine. Especially in 3v3s, I've seen players completely wreck the other team with an APM of like 50. So, I mean, it's doable. Especially if other players are kind of handling the early harass and you're just sitting back and macroing your face off, which Protoss can do. Zerg can do, Terran can do to some extent, but anyway, what am I doing here? I'm just going 16, 18, 17. I've been trying to emulate the Zerg players that I like in my life and I respect and admire, and it seems to be working out pretty well macro-wise. Anyway, I've got my hatch basically done. Oh, hang on. Is Macaroonies double expanding? Macaroonies is double expanding. I like that. For the Swarm's expanding a little bit late, but does have his pool done, which can be dangerous. I have lost the Zergs going pool first and kind of destroying this, but if you get your pool down fast enough in the 16, 18, 17, you can have Lings out to defend it pretty quickly. So keep that in mind. Like, don't worry about going 16, 18, 17 because you're going to die to early Lings, especially on a bigger map like this. You probably will be okay. Protoss expanding, love that. Pylon block here from Sargento. That's hilarious. My Overlord is coming to scout. See, there's not a base there, but Sargento took care of that for me. And I'm just running for my life here. I'm not even trying to scout this other location. Like, do I know that it's there? I do know that it's there. Oh, good job by me. Scouting and not dying, getting up here by this windsock and staying alive. Staying alive. Pulling a couple workers off of gas. That's important stuff. Protoss working on cybernetics core. Being able to warp in things with the warp gate research. Second base coming up here for Into the Storm. That's good expansion location. And I'm taking a third over on the left side. So I like that sub 3-minute third base. Everything macroing pretty well for me thus far. Sargento's pylon does end up getting taken out there. Zerglings dealing with the annoying gas steal that's happening. But Macarooni's doing all right for himself. His third base is done. Overlord of mine does end up scouting this too. Pretty good from the scouting Overlords today. I gotta say, I'm feeling fairly proud of it. Just getting this information out that early is it just means you can sit back and macro up, is what it means here. That's what I'm doing. Sitting back, macroing up. Let's see if we can get a worker count here. Does that not show up down here in 3v3s? I don't think it does. Well, that's annoying. 27 SCVs, 22 drones, 26 probes. Come on, Falcon, you're better than this. Where are your drones? I'm making spores because I am worried about oracles, which is a very real concern here, but we skipped Stargate for the opposing Protoss. And then making 6 drones at a time, and I think I'm going to start to catch up back here and a worker count in just a second at about 4 minutes. So there's my lair, putting my workers back on gas, trying to get up to about 40, 45 workers or so. Some Lings do show up. Speedlings show up a little bit late and try to snipe down my third base. And I've got a handful of Lings because I didn't just skip army altogether here. And that is what's going to allow me to save this hatchery, is just having 6 Zerglings. I think these Lings could have killed me if they turned around and fought, but they're playing pretty cautiously, I gotta say, and they're just going to get out of there. So creep spread happening here too on both lanes, which I'm really proud of. I love good creep spread. I love it when other players do it, and I love it when I do it. Additional queens in production. I guess maybe he saw my Lings run in and got worried. I made some Lings here when I didn't need to. But I guess having enough lings to handle those lings if they just darted back on in was not a bad thing either. How's Macaroni's doing on worker count? 28, 29. I'm at 29. Okay. So we're all keeping up with each other worker count-wise, but we're about to explode on 3 bases with good injects. I've got an oversaturation of drones here at the main base, which I should probably move down to the 3rd base based on what we're looking at here. Some lings roll in and take down all 3 of my new creep tumors, which I can't cancel because you can't cancel creep tumors in the current patch. It makes me so sad. So darn sad on the inside. And that's a Spire. That is a 5-minute Spire out of our guy for the Swarm. He's on 2 base. He's going 2 base Mutalisk, which pretty good, especially if your opponents, or your teammates rather, can feed you gas. Can be pretty fantastic. I don't think that's what's happening here. A bunch of Adepts out for our Protoss friend, Sargento. I keep calling him Sergeant Bob, but that's not what it is at all. It's Sargento BB. Like Sargento Cheese, maybe. I don't know. So, I'm going to go ahead, get a bunch of gases, throw down Evolution Chambers and a Hydralisk Den, and maybe a Baneling Nest too. Yep, Baneling Nest getting started. We got Colossus with Extended Thermal Lance, the tech of choice from Sargento. And our Terran player is working mech, which I kind of like, honestly, against this this double Zerg setup. Mech kind of hard for Zerg to handle at this level. Obviously, mech doesn't work at the GM level. Oh, I had to recall out. That sucks. Didn't see that in game. I guess I did notice units were under attack, but I couldn't ever figure out where they were. But at this level, though, like at Diamond 2, Diamond 1 level, mech pretty good. It's hard to deal with for us Zergs. They don't have a great handle on spellcasters, which is how you beat mech if your Zerg is with spellcasters. Blinding Cloud, Abducts all over the place, Neural Parasite. If you don't have those things, you will die to mech. Good inject there. Actually, could probably second inject. I'm not too bad for 7 minutes. Sitting on about 26 energy there. So I want all 3 upgrades for my ground unit. So 3 evolution chambers it is. Making 13 drones at a time, which I'm pretty proud of at this stage. All the way up to 64 workers, which does put me in the lead for worker count for anybody else in the game right now. It's only 36 for the Swarm, which seems like a problem. 63 for their Protoss, though, is really nice. He's a 3-basing Protoss right now. Looking super scary, tossing up a ton of gateways. Working on observers, going for warp. Is that warp speed? What the heck? Anyway, going for Storm, which is going to be great against everything here, except maybe the mech. Maybe Storm is not very good versus mech. Hydralisks do take down my queen, but my lings are here. The lings I made earlier are here. They're going to kill these Hydras, and that is revenge for killing my creep queen. You big jerk. Another base here from Sargento BB. He's not complaining about the creep spread, kind of encroaching upon his base here. Bunch of stalkers out for Shamanics. And yeah, it's been a fairly slow game so far. Nobody's really been crippled by anything at this stage. Nobody's maxed out at the 8-minute mark quite yet. Working on 100 supply here is Shamanics. Nice disruptor hit though. Woo! Sargento, beautiful disruptor hit on all of those stalkers. Adepts fighting against Hydras, not bad. If they had a Resonating Glaives, it'd be a better fight for them. Oh, don't hit the Archon, though, you guys. No, 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 no. Go after... All right, well, that's not going to happen. Cool. Super, super cool. Lurker Den on the way for Macaronis. Lurker Den is really hard to deal with by opposing Zerg players if they don't have things like Blinding Cloud, if they don't have things like Abduct. You'll notice how that works. I've got a 4th base, which I am saturating here a little bit here, sitting at 70 drones. I'm feeling pretty happy at this stage. The Mech of Into the Storm is here, but a little bit unsupported. I've got some Banelings, but versus the Archons, they're going to suck. So the Banelings are going to go suicide into their deaths anyway to some extent. Look at me pulling back. This is something I've been working on, is pulling back if I don't have a good situation. Producing Hydralisks to back up the Banelings. Mass Baneling not going to be very good here anyway. If I can connect on the High Templar, they'll be brilliant. But creep spreading up the right side, creep spreading up this left side too. It's pretty good creep spread considering the other Zergs aren't really doing it at all. But Hydra's coming around the back side. Going to take down these rocks. Engagement at the front. The Thors do not care about your Storm. The Colossus too. Doing all right for themselves. And this Mech Colossus Stalker push. Just kidding. Only the Protoss is pushing out for some reason. We're pinging like crazy because a Lurker Hydra army just showed up at our back door and is going to cause a problem for Sargento's expansion over on this side. Disruptor. Does Disruptor get a massive hit here? That'd be amazing if it did. Oh gosh, there you go. This is pretty good against Roach Hydra is disruptor shots. Zergs are not used to splitting their units, right? They're not a Terran. They haven't been splitting against Banelings. They don't really care about Banelings all that much in ZVZ. And splitting against Banelings makes no sense anyway. Roaches don't care. Hydras do care, but anyway. Yeah, so 2 Colossus here with Stalker support with Disrupt. Nice, beautiful disruptor shot. And Sargento BB actually handles this all by his lonesome. Very nicely done. Very nicely, patiently controlled there. Really loving that. I'm going for Adrenal Glands, 10 Hydras at a time. 166 supply right now, the most supply of anybody in the game. Happily sitting on these 4 bases. And probably should go for a 5th considering how much I've been left alone here. But I'm also worrying about upgrades. Trying to worry about creep spread to some extent here. Tumors keep dying along this right path, unfortunately for me. But yeah, just mech, really, from Into the Storm. 157 supply. 184 for me. 9 more Hydras in production. We got the upgrades. Working on a 3-3 for those guys here at 10 minutes. I'm pretty proud of that upgrade path. 3-3 Hydras at about 11 minutes is not bad. Blue, come with us. I think he's talking about... I forget. I'm not blue, right? I am blue. Oh yeah, there's 2 blues. So we're not sure who he's talking about, to be honest with you. But I decided to join anyway, as Hydra's backing up tanks and Thors seem pretty good. I mean, that Colossus shows up, and I'm like, you know what? 1 Colossus is enough to back out. So I just back out. Bunch of Zealots die to these tanks. And I'm like, you know, if they're going this way and they're kind of trapped on a ledge, I'm just going to push on out. Going to push on out here. We've got Sargento attacking the right side. Hydra's in a confined space, really bad against Colossus. And I decided it's just time to move. Let's do this thing. The Mutaflock is real, though, from For the Swarm all of a sudden. Oh, gosh. There is no defense here whatsoever. My Hydras are taking down hatcheries. My Hydras are taking down Nexuses all over the place. There's a single Colossus here. And my Hydras are not 3-3 yet. They're trying to get there. It's going to take some time, so I just run away. I just deal with this Hydra Lurker army with a mech supporting me along the left side here, too. Very nicely done by the mech support here. All the Lurkers are gone. For the Swarm is in a large amount of trouble. The Mutalisks have killed a base, but he just lost that one. Macaroonies losing bases along the right side. I'm not actually sure what Macaroonies is going for in this game. He doesn't have any army supply whatsoever. Oh, For the Swarm just made 1 million Banelings, and all my Hydras are super dead. There are still Banelings remaining. Whew. Vikings for the Colossus. I'm at 115 army supply, making 36 Zerglings, feeling like, okay, Lings are going to be all right here. There's not much for the other army. If we've got a bunch of Immortals, okay, Dark Templar, more of a problem, as it turns out, but pretty good against Hydralisks are Zerglings with upgrades. Mutas take out another base of Sargento Bobs. I mean, pretty good here from For the Swarm, but taking shots from Thors is really bad news. The DTs wiping out Sargento's army, forcing a recall here. And 1 Colossus does make it out. Zergling just happily wiping out every base on the right side right now. The Zerg players are hurting mightily. They've got 1 base remaining. More Zerglings on the way. Working on that +3 attack. I've got Adrenal Glands. Making additional Hydras in the mix here too. You cannot live by Zerglings alone. I do try to get on top of this Colossus and kill it, but there's just too much. Too many Zealots, too many DTs. That's not going to happen, my guy. And then, and then I'm like, hey, they have Dark Templar, by the way. 5 minutes after they started. Anyway, Into the Storm taking a base on the right side. Sergeant retaking a couple bases here too. I'm taking a 5th at this stage of the game. Let's go. And teamwork is so paramount in team games, you guys. Teamwork is so good. You must have the teamwork to win. Generally in 3v3s. Shamanix is okay. Shamanix is 4-basing it as a Protoss player. He's at 149 supply. 181 for our Meching Terran player. He's been good. He's just been patient and good. He's working on 3-3 for his mech. My 3-3 is done. I'm very proud of that. Creep spreading up the left side. Creep spreading up this side here too a little bit. The Mutaflock here has regenerated its health because tissue regeneration is totally a thing. And this right side has just been dominated by Team Red for the last few minutes or so here. 2 or 3 minutes has belonged to them. Are the Vikings going to land on this hatch? I don't think they should. There's enough to kill it otherwise. Everybody kind of stuck on this ramp a little bit, trying to kill that hatchery from distance. We've got Shamanix coming up the left side with a pretty scary looking army. I do have some defensive spines I'm proud of. Doing all right against these Zealots, and then I get my army in position to handle it. And say, hey, why don't you And I back out. I'm like, why don't you come up here to where it's more open and available? The mech army, Banelings exploding on Thors is not super great. Macaroonies is out. Into the Storm has some harsh words for our opponents. Into the Storm, be good manner, my guy. I'm maxed out. Shamanix is almost maxed out. Into the Storm is at 183 supply. The army came back to try to deal with this mech army that is wrecking his Zerg friends right now. He knows he can't win this alone. I'm making a Greater Spire because I recognize there are no Tempests on the field. There's not a lot of anything that can handle Broodlords, actually, including High Templar. There's Colossus and stuff, but I think we can do this. Nice. Man, there have been some really good Purification Novas today. That Disruptor does die. Got some Storm in here against the blue. The Immortals pretty great against everything here, but there's just too many. There's just too much. These bonus damage versus mechanical that the Vikings are dealing with are huge. I've got Colossus in the army because I know that I've got Colossus. Corruptors in the army because I know Colossus might be a problem here. But as it turns out, there's not much to worry about. These are undefended bases, but wiping them out reduces the income of the Protoss. The Mutalisks get on top of this army. Trying to do a magic box here against the Archons. Everything dies here for Shamanix. He's at 37 supply. Or Sargento's at 30 supply. Shamanix is at 35 supply. I'm at 193. Thank you very much. Into the Storm at 128. The Mutalisks have decided they're going to go for some kind of a base race here. We'll see that in a second. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I'm maxed out. Just banking up resources here, trying to inject as well as I can here. I think all of my hatcheries have eggs on them, which I was really focusing on that this game. I don't have a queen there for some reason. Bad Falcon. Have queens at the bases. Using Caustic Spray on gateways and nexuses and whatever I feel like. Taking down Overlord just so supply for the Swarm is in a lot of trouble here. The Mutas don't really want to engage with this many Corruptors, especially considering, what do they have here? Do they have any flyer upgrades? Or we're going to +1 attack. Never mind. Sargento has, he says, got some issues there with his typing, I suppose. But yeah, supply blocking for the Swarm into next week. The Mutalisks decided to come on down. It was easy for me to kill these bases last time. Let's do this. 3 Stalkers warp in. And there are 3 Archons. Good magic box, though. So magic boxing is when you bring your Mutas. You don't right-click on a target because they'll stack on them and take splash damage. If they're Archons or Thors, that's bad. Against Missile Turrets, it doesn't matter because there's no splash. But you just click on a place, right-click, move-click to a place right next to the thing you want to kill. Your Mutas will stay spread out, and the splash damage won't apply to them nearly as much. Magic boxing is great. I'm throwing up some Desperation Spores here against these Mutalisks. Into the Storm has more bad manner. Into the Storm, I'm ashamed of you. Not happy about this at all. The Corruptors, with their extra armor, are really good against these Mutas. Hydra support makes them even better. For the Swarm has a 40 supply against 8 available to him. Corruptors coming in from all angles, getting that full surround on these dudes. We got Lings heading across the map. Thor's getting splashed, and that's it. Falcon Paladin into the Storm, and Sargento BB are your winners in 18 minutes and 28 seconds. So a pretty fun match. It was a good one. About 18 longer macro style match. I got into 5 base economy. I maxed out, lost everything, maxed out again, which I'm pretty happy about. Tech switched a couple times. Not a bad game. Average APM here for me was about 140, which is pretty good. 386 for Shamanix throughout the entire match. That's nuts, dude. What were you doing? Not winning, I guess. Resources lost at the end of the game. Actually, we have a resources tab? Maybe we don't in the team games. Anyway, how many work? I didn't lose a single drone. Not a single drone. I lost a bunch of Lings, bunch of Hydras, 2 Banelings, 9 Corruptors, but no drones died, which is massive for me. Ending at 73 drones on the day. 14 Thors died, but only 10 SCVs went down. I think those are ones that he probably brought along with him for the ride. And then, yeah, just everything died for blue there at the end of the day. So, a pretty fun match. I like 3v3s just because it's good teamwork. It's not as rushy and cheesy as 2v2, but 4v4 is kind of demanding on people's computers, and people lag out more often in 4v4. So you got to keep that in mind when you're playing. But Yeah, come hang out on twitch.tv/FalconPaladin and watch me play. Often I have Somicron with me. We're both playing Zerg. But on Sundays, sometimes I'll just be straight up playing alone in team games and random. So come say hi. Give me a follow. It doesn't cost you anything. Twitch is a good place to be. All right, well, that's going to be it for me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.